Hey, what's up? This is Chosen and hanging out with my friend and teammate Veiled Shot. Today we are going to unveil. You like that? I just thought about that. Here we go. Okay. We are going to unveil the Infinite Magicraid tier list that we've been working on here in our team in case any of you out there are going to be trying out that game. So let's get into it. Alrighty, first time on the main channel here, Veiled. I'm excited to have you. How you doing today?
Good. I got promoted today, so
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, so go ahead and just for any of my raid viewers and Gasha mobile gaming viewers that don't know who you are, you want to give us a quick like little 30-second intro to who you are and what you do?
sure. Yeah, Chose and I we kind of met over Diablo Immortal. We've been playing that game for pretty hardcore for about 4 months now. But before that, I used to create a bunch of content for Ace, and I even played Raid for about 2 years up until Ace came out. And this game has kind of stolen our attention for the time being because it's actually pretty well made. But that's what we're here to talk about, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, we kind of keep we have a little a team and a friends group. We hang out in Discord, we try different games, we work on tier lists, we work on resources, we work on calculators, and just all sorts of stuff that we're trying to constantly brainstorm to either add to a website or to do in our videos. And this is kind of something that we've been working on for the last week or two. Now, right when I got into trying out Infinite Magic Raid was when TwitchCon was going on. So I was, I took off my account, got kind of behind here, and I lost track of keeping tabs on everything going on. But do you want to walk us through kind of like some of the champions to watch out for and some of the methodology in working on this tier list and some of the random kind of footnotes we want to make sure that we get covered?
Yeah, so I guess the big thing to look out for is many people, obviously, on your channel are going to be coming from Raid. So one thing to really pay attention to, like you have your continuous damage in Raid, it's really and poisons in Raid, but it's really different in this game. Dots in this game scale based on your attack rather than sometimes the enemy's max HP. Sometimes they do percentage of enemy max HP, but you can up the damage of it by scaling a unique stat called Mastery in this game, which basically scales your damage exponentially. And so the thing in this game is that a lot of your dot damage dealers are oftentimes significantly more important than your just straight up damage dealers. And this is pretty much throughout the entire game for the most part. Your nukers really aren't incredibly useful unless you're talking about arena. In some other scenarios, they are. But another thing is that, and I think this is a really key one because I didn't understand when I first started playing, is that in this game, debuffs are divided into two categories. They don't have like debuffs. They have dot debuffs and attribute debuffs. Attribute debuffs are going to be like your attack down, your defense down, your speed down. And then your dot debuffs are going to be your bleeds, your poisons, and your HP burns in this game. And oftentimes, supports won't cleanse both. They'll cleanse one or the other. And that's just an example of how kind of different these two things are and how important dots are. So a lot of the characters that we're going to mention here, or at least you might see on the top of your list, are characters that have a specific debuff called HP burn. And I'm sure many of you that play Raid out there kind of understand this is a max HP damage scaling debuff. Similar to like how you might run into your cold hearts that are just one-shotting bosses. Your HP burns, when you stack a bunch, can do insane damage to bosses because it's based on the boss's max HP. So those characters like Melia and Hizanya you might see at the top of the list, that's the reason why they're at the top of the list, because they will annihilate your single target bosses, because you can also amplify that damage with the mastery as I was talking about, and it becomes pretty absurd.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so obviously the legendary options here up top is going to be great if you get one of these. Is re-rolling an option in Infinite Magic Raid? Is that something that you would say someone should do maybe until they get one of these top fives, until they get a Catherine or something like that? Should someone worry about min-maxing that?
Yeah, so unfortunately the way the game's situated right now, re-rolling, I'll be honest, they do it so terribly in this game. They make it so that you have to re-link, like do a whole new Google account. If you try to delete your data and then make a new character on a separate server even, you're not going to get some of the reroll rewards in some cases. So oftentimes it's annoying. However, I think that in this game, if you get an HP burner or something like that, you are going to really speed up your progression for that first 2, 3 weeks. But this game is super long term focused. So even if you speed up that first 2 weeks, in the grand scheme of things, it probably won't matter as long as you get characters in the future that kind of fill some of those roles, which obviously you could get really unlucky and you could be free to play, and then you could get nothing that really works well in those roles. So I would say for me, I would try to reroll for something that is quite solid. There's obviously a ton of characters out there. It doesn't have to be a legendary either. There's a ton of epics that are really hard carries. Things like Reeves, things like Holder work well for you to just get through the campaign. And then Reeves, for example, will really scale into the end game. And it's someone that I actually am considering really dumping some resources into. Even though I do have Melia and Hizanya, Reeves is still someone I'm looking at to kind of upgrade and really slot into some team comps because he's so good. So he doesn't have to be legendaries. One thing I'll note in this game, however, rares are completely useless. They are legitimately useless. It's not like you have your apothecary that has a good kit, even though their base stats are lower or whatever. The game literally prevents you from upgrading your rares. Like the mechanics in the game just don't let you. So you have to have epics and legendaries. So at least getting a solid epic is kind of a must.
Yeah, and in this game, I think it's similar to Awaken Chaos Era, where they had the elites. They're not rares; they're like elites. We see some games trying to move away from the uncommon, rare, epic, legendary. And they're trying to get cute, and they're trying to go with this elite tier. And this game does that. And yeah, I think that's weird that they just make them legitimately useless. I like how Raid does it, where you've got like your Bellower and your Cold Heart and your Apothecary and your champions to look out for when you're beginning. But yeah, he's right. You don't want to waste any time on the blue champions, the elite champions. You want to only go after epics and legendaries. Now, let's say somebody it has a decent amount of epics they're trying to pick from. Would there be because legendaries aren't going to be for everybody, is there a certain
Mhm.
epic 2 or 3 that would be the best first champion for people to invest in? I know the ones that get thrown around a lot are Holder and Reeves, are kind of like the 2 biggest names. Maybe is there like a list of like 5 that people should really watch out for?
So in this game, the way the campaign works, you want to 3-star your campaign, and the game prevents you from having a unlimited turns. So you need to have a lot of damage. So you really want a 5-star or Awaken 5, which is kind of like 6-starring a damage dealer, right? That's very self-explanatory in pretty much every gotcha game. So the characters I'd look out in terms of epics that I would want to kind of upgrade first, as I mentioned, Holder, Reeves are 2 excellent options. Reeves in particular, if you're looking to kind of hedge your bets into the later game, he's really going to hold his value and probably get even higher value later on. Looking at the list here, someone like Hardak is actually a pretty solid defense-based damage dealer. It makes it so he's really easy survivably. Like you could just stack a bunch of defense on him. He's going to smack really hard, but he's also going to be super survivable because of that defense-based damage. After that, I wouldn't say there's anyone else that really stands out in the epic category, but you really want to support these characters with a really nice support. And 3 supports I would be on the lookout for, in addition to my carry. Liz, she's going to be super impactful. She's going to help you cleanse. She's going to help you put shields and heal. Maya, she's also going to do the same thing. She's going to cleanse. She's going to heal. She's going to put that shield on you. And Wim is probably the most important one, at least in the earlier to mid game, because he has if you get some copies of him, which upgrade his abilities, he's actually going to put a permanent shield on your whole team. Obviously, if they get through it, then they get through it, but he's going to refresh that shield duration so that you have a permanent shield on your entire team worth 40% of his max HP. So you could stack a bunch of max HP, and then your entire team will survive just because he's built out. So those 3 epics are the ones I would look out for the most, especially in the early to mid game.
Nice. Okay, cool. And we're actually gonna do another collab talking about some of the beginner tips and tricks, like if you download the game, and maybe like the order of operations in terms of awakening some of your heroes, and what to spend your gems on and what to prioritize. So we're not gonna dive into that and make this a 45-minute video. The main gist of this was to get this tier list out there. I'm gonna work on getting it laid out on the website. I may need a few days or a week or or so to make that happen, to get you a fancy place to kind of visit it and favorite it and pull it up. For now, I will link to the spreadsheet down below. We've got a team of people. Shout out to Trigger Happy John, Veiled Shot, and other people that help work on resources like this. And we've got it set up in a way where we can keep this up to date for you. And we do want to make sure and give you the caveat that obviously this is a new game and we're all learning it as fast as we can, as best as we can. A tier list like this is obviously not going to be perfect. It's going to get adjusted as we learn more and as we develop more. And you're obviously welcome to contribute any knowledge that you have, messaging us on Discord or down in the comment section and everything of the sorts as we try to make things as accurate as we can. Is there anything else that you want to make sure we cover about this like 1.0 unveiling of the tier list? Or did we kind of touch on some of the home run topics here?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much it. One thing I'll note about the tier list specifically, we don't have the exclusives in there right now. That is a very critical part of the game. And it's something that's kind of later on. Exclusives are basically like dupes. You get a dupe of a character and they unlock sometimes entirely new functioning abilities for the characters. So they could really tune up a character or just kind of make it just better than it already is. So that is one thing to look out for. You may see a character that's really low rated. You might want to do a double take on that just to make sure that if they get their exclusives, they're not one of the best characters, because that actually does happen in this game.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and you know, I'll try to remember to link down below to our beginners guide that we're going to record as well for this game, and I will also link to Veiled Shot's channel down below. You definitely want to follow this guy. He plays like 12 different games, does content on them, plays them all at a high level somehow. I don't know how he does it, but yeah. Anyway, is there anything you'd like to say on the way out here? Anything you want to mention about what you do or anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me.
All right, awesome. Well, like I said, the link to the tier list and Veiled Shots stuff will be down below for you. And as always, remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy mobile gaming content. And thanks for watching. And a massive thanks to Veiled Shot for joining us. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.